It's only been 2 races, but poor old Liam Lawson is not doing so well as he was qualifying better when he was in a Racing Bull than he is now in the Red Bull.
You didn't pay off Checo for this, did you? I mean, the point was to replace Checo with a quicker driver, and is he just not a quicker driver?
As I say, we'll have a good look at it, and we'll do what we can tomorrow.
All right, well, good luck with it. Thanks for talking to us.
There's actually another angle on this, which goes into a little bit more detail. Let's have a look at that one.
You know, you need him to score the constructors' points. You didn't pay off Checo for this, did you? I mean, the point was to replace Checo with a quicker driver, and is he just not a quicker driver?
As I say, we'll have a good look at it, and we'll do what we can tomorrow.
I mean, I don't know. What are we doing? Bits now? Come on, man. And what is that, like 10 years old, that meme? Come on. We're above that. Into the meat of the story. Red Bull, the whole meeting after Chinese Grand Prix disappointment, says Helmut Marko. Oh, that's what you got to do. You got to go talk to the guy with no filter whatsoever. Red Bull Motorsport advisor Helmut Marko has revealed that the team is set to hold a meeting next week after a disappointing start to the 2025 season. You probably have a meeting after a disappointing start to the season and then go and say good things about everybody and keep everybody in their job. That's probably what you do. Red Bull Motorsport advisor Helmut Marko has revealed that the team is set to hold a meeting next week after its disappointing start to the 2025 season. Although 4-time Formula One champion Max Verstappen is currently in 2nd position in the standings, the team has been suffering issues with the RB21. Sure it has. Verstappen's new teammate Liam Lawson has especially struggled to get the grips with the new car. After retiring from a rain-soaked Australian Grand Prix, the New Zealander hoped to turn things around when he arrived in China. However, his difficulties continued. He qualified in P20 for both the sprint race and the Grand Prix and is yet to earn any points. Despite only having 2 Grand Prix weekends of the 2025 season under his belt so far, rumours have already started to circulate that the Kiwi could be replaced by Yuki Tsunoda as early as the Japanese Grand Prix. We're pointing out that this was quote-unquote confirmed by Ralf Schumacher. He was like, ding, ding. Oh, what's that? Yep. Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like Red Bull are going to replace Yuki Tsunoda and Liam Lawson, do the switcheroo. Actually, the rumor isn't even that they'll do a switcheroo. The rumor is Lawson is out. Like, out. Yuki Tsunoda will go to Red Bull, and then stepping in at Racing Bulls would be Franco Colapinto. So, things are getting real spicy. Speaking to motorsport.com, Marko explained that the team will be holding a meeting to discuss the weak spots, aka Liam Lawson. We have to work hard. Max is in the factory next week with the engineers to discuss where the weaknesses are, not Liam. I'm sure that the idea that Max is also struggling in the car is what the defenders of Liam Lawson and those who want to keep him in longer will say. They'll say it's the car. And to be fair, this is what a lot of like average pundits online have been saying, which is, you could look at any driver from the last few years, the last 5-6 years, whoever isn't Max Verstappen who's in that team doesn't do well. They set up their car for Max Verstappen. When Red Bull are dominating, they can make the car easier to handle. When Red Bull are not winning and certainly not dominating, they dial up the performance, which dials down the handling, which means you have to be better to be able to handle the car. Now, Max Verstappen's handling is exceptional, so he can handle it. The famous example, I think Alex Albon gave this example of like turning up the sensitivity on your mouse, turning it up as high as it goes, and you move it a tiny little bit and it flies across the screen, which I like. Now, I'm not saying I'm like Max Verstappen, but people say that. But anyway, the point is, when they need a driver who can handle the mouse sensitivity turned up like that. It seems like Liam Lawson can't do that. Now, it's clear that he can drive too, because he stepped straight in at Racing Bulls and did well. So it's not like he can't drive, but this is what everybody's saying. It's a Red Bull problem where they favor one driver over another with the setup of the car. They need to find a way to not disadvantage Max, or disadvantage Max as little as possible while also benefiting their second driver for once is what everybody wants. There's ramifications if, let's just say hypothetically, Lawson is dropped out. Let's say hypothetically Yuki Tsunoda steps up and does really well and Franco Colapinto goes in at Racing Bulls. Who benefits the most out of that? You might say Yuki Tsunoda. You might even say Franco Colapinto. I would argue the guy who benefits most is this guy, Jack Doohan. Because all of the talk preseason was that Jack Doohan is under threat and that his seat is the most at risk and Franco Colapinto's coming to eat his lunch. Now, obviously, Franco Colapinto is stepping in at Racing Bulls, especially if they're doing better than Alpine are. Why would Franco Colapinto want to go to Alpine? That might be good news for old Jackie Doohan. Jackie Mick Doohan. Can we christen Jack Doohan with the nickname of Mick so that Aussies like me, who have that urge to say Mick Doohan, it just covers it up. Unfortunately for Jack Mick Doohan, he had a bad weekend. Jack Doohan racks up 4 penalty points in one weekend after China GP ordeal. Jack Doohan finishes the first 2 Grand Prix with no championship points, but instead 4 penalty points on his super license. Hey, they said us in the press. I think we need to come up with a word where a driver finishes the year with more penalty points than championship points. We need to, maybe that could be the super license champ of the year or something. Sprint race, 10-second penalty and 2 penalty points after a collision with the Sauber driver Gabriel Bortoleto. Chinese Grand Prix, 10-second penalty and 2 penalty points for a racing incident involving Isaac Hadjar. I feel bad for Liam Lawson, but that said, he's sort of also had a chance already. And you could look at drivers like Daniel Ricciardo, who was sort of pushed out of the sport, partly because of his own form, but also partly because of the promise of someone like Liam Lawson. So, you know, he's claimed some scalps, had his chance. I don't know. I just feel like the only way that Red Bull can really win and get out of this thing is to just chop every driver. Put them in for practice, and if they don't top the timesheets, just chop them, put someone else in. I don't think they'd swap enough drivers. That's what I'm saying. They're going to have to sign every Formula 3 driver because they're going to be rotating them so fast.